The ACLU has organized over 400 Hollywood actors, celebrities, producers, directors in an attempt to make Jimmy Kimmel a free speech martyr. Roll this up over at fandompulse.com. You can find the link in the description below. On last Monday night's episode of Jimmy Kimmel Live, show host Jimmy Kimmel lied to viewers about Charlie Kirk's assassin, claiming he was a MAGA activist. Kimmel said this: "We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them, doing everything they can to score political points from it." At that point, the assassin had already been identified as Tyler Robinson, or the suspected assassin had been identified as Tyler Robinson, and Utah Governor Spencer Cox noted there clearly was a leftist ideology with this assassin. Additionally, he revealed that Robinson's roommate was his boyfriend who was transitioning from male to female. And he said this: "We do not know that the roommate that we originally, we do know that the roommate that we originally talked about, we can confirm that that roommate is a boyfriend who is transitioning from male to female. So we know that piece. There's obviously conversations that they've shared from the family where he indicated that he did not like Charlie Kirk. I think he used the word hate in that. And all evidence pointing to the fact that this guy was not a MAGA activist, but was indeed a leftist ideologue who did not like Charlie Kirk, and that is why he decided to assassinate him. So following that episode on Monday night, TV network or TV station owner Sinclair and Nexstar Media Group announced they would no longer run Jimmy Kimmel Live on their ABC-affiliated stations. After this, an ABC News spokesman announced that Kimmel's show was being preempted or canceled. The spokesman said Jimmy Kimmel Live will be preempted indefinitely. The ACLU then attempted to alter the facts about why Kimmel was pulled off, and they have wrangled over 400 actors into their gambit. The organization boldly lies on its website, announcing it has activated these actors and artists, saying Jimmy Kimmel was taken off the air after our government threatened a private company with retaliation for Kimmel's remarks. This is a dark moment for freedom of speech in our nation. So just to be clear, it's likely that the ACLU here is referring to statements made by FCC Chairman Brendan Carr, who informed Benny Johnson that the FCC might take action against Disney for misleading the public. He said this is a very, very serious issue right now for Disney. We can do this the easy way or the hard way. These companies can find ways to take action on Kimmel, or there's going to be additional work for the FCC ahead. They have a license granted by us at the FCC, and that comes with an obligation to operate in the public interest. The FCC can make a strong argument that this is sort of an intentional effort to mislead the American people about a very core fundamental fact, a very important matter." Additionally, he called on Disney to make change. Disney needs to see some change here, but the individual licensed stations that are taking their content, it's time for them to step up and say this, garbage to the extent that that's what comes down the pipe in the future isn't something that we think serves the needs of our local communities. But this sort of status quo is obviously not acceptable where we are. This is all under the purview of the SEC and its broadcast hoaxes rule, which clearly states this: no licensee or permittee of any broadcast station shall broadcast false information concerning a crime or a catastrophe if the licensee knows this information is false. I think that is absolutely true. What happened here with Jimmy Kimmel, I think he knows that what he did was indeed false. It is foreseeable that broadcast of the information will cause substantial public harm. I think there's plenty of evidence to that fact as well. And broadcast of the information does, in fact, directly cause substantial public harm. I think we've already seen that, where we've seen more and more people kind of encouraging this type of behavior. And now we're seeing the ACLU get involved and trying to defend Jimmy Kimmel by literally parroting his lie, which I think causes substantial public harm. When you have these activist organizations like the ACLU now getting involved, this is clearly, I think, substantial public harm. Nevertheless, the ACLU then declared this is unconstitutional and un-American. I mean, it's absolutely bizarre to claim that when it's literally an FCC rule, and free speech does not mean you can say whatever you want to say in the United States of America. Whatever comes out of your mouth is not free speech. We have laws against slander. We have laws against libel, and that is because it is wrong. It is morally wrong to lie about someone. It is morally wrong to slander. It is morally wrong to mislead someone intentionally. And I think Jimmy Kimmel did that on purpose and did it with malice. So it is not unconstitutional and it is not un-American to have the government crack down on a public figure who is actively trying to mislead the public on purpose, and in my opinion, with malice. That is not unconstitutional or un-American. This is just absolutely absurd from the ACLU. Anyways, they went on and said the government is threatening private companies and individuals that the president disagrees with. So they're trying to frame it as like, oh, they just got him because he criticizes the president of the United States. He criticizes Trump. It's utterly ridiculous. This guy clearly lied about the investigation and the evidence that we know so far, and he did so on purpose. We can't let this threat to our freedom of speech go unanswered. It's not a threat to freedom of speech. They're literally protecting freedom of speech because freedom of speech requires that the ends be truth and good, which Jimmy Kimmel was not even attempting to reach. He was clearly lying, did so on purpose, and in my opinion, again, as I said, did with malice. Anyways, they then shared their letter that all of these celebrities have signed on to, and the letter basically just kind of repeats these lies here, saying, we the people must never accept government threats to our freedom of speech. Efforts by leaders to pressure artists, journalists, and companies with retaliation for their speech strike at the heart of what it means to live in a free country. It's all a bunch of BS and bogus lies. Last week, Jimmy Kimmel was taken off the air after the government threatened a private company with retaliation, marking a dark moment for freedom of speech in our nation. In an attempt to silence its critics, our government has resorted to threatening the livelihoods of journalists, talk show hosts, artists, creatives, and entertainers across the board. This runs counter to the values our nation was built upon and our Constitution guarantees. Where was the ACLU when the Biden administration was twisting the arm of Facebook and Facebook was just doing everything that the government wanted them to do, and it was being done all behind the scenes? Where was the ACLU when Twitter was banning people outright? Where was Twitter, or where was the ACLU when Twitter banned President Donald Trump, like banned a sitting president from their platform? Where was the ACLU? This is a bunch of garbage, and it just proves that these people are a bunch of hypocrites. They don't actually care about freedom of speech, and they're just trying to mobilize a bunch of leftist communists into buying into this fake, false narrative. Anyways, they go on and says, we know this moment is bigger than us in our industry. Teachers, government employees, law firms, researchers, university students, and so many more are also facing direct attacks on their freedom of expression. Again, lies. This is all lies. Regardless of our political affiliation or whether we engage in politics or not, we all love our country. We also share the belief that our voices should never be silenced by those in power, because if it happens to one of us, it happens to all of us. So they're literally just trying to dupe people into buying into this fake narrative that they've built up in order to try to make it seem like they're being bipartisan and then they're really fighting for what is right, when it's the exact opposite. I mean, this is the work of the Prince of Lies here. I mean, he this is what he would do if he were trying to attack our country. This is the moment to defend free speech across our nation. We encourage all Americans to join us, along with the ACLU, in the fight to defend and preserve our constitutionally protected rights. That's not what you're doing whatsoever. As far as who all has signed on to it, I mean, again, over 400 people. Some of them are Deborah Messing, Zoe Deschanel, Zazie Beetz, Will Wheaton, of course, Natalie Portman, Tom Hanks, of course, Sharon Stone, Selena Gomez, Sarah Paulson, Maya Rudolph, Jamie Lee Curtis, no surprise there, Melissa Benoist, Maggie Gyllenhaal, Lin-Manuel Miranda, Martin Short, Lena Dunham, Gloria Steinem. I mean, you're bringing out Gloria Steinem, like the who's who of feminism, who has literally like brought down our country and done significant harm to the country, and you're touting her as someone who's standing up for free speech. Give me a break. George Takei, Al Yankovic, Ben Stiller, Billy Crystal, Christina Applegate, Diego Luna, Elizabeth Banks, of course, Gabrielle Luna, Jane Fonda, Jason Bateman, Jennifer Aniston, John Cryer, of course, Judd Apatow, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Laura Benatti, Kyra Sedgwick, Kumail Nanjiani, Kevin Bacon, Kristen Dunst, Regina Hall, Regina King, Robert De Niro, Rosario Dawson, and there are obviously hundreds more. And it's unclear how effective this was, but we did get this from Disney indicating that Jimmy Kimmel Live is expected to return to air tonight. They said this in a statement. Last Wednesday, we made the decision to suspend production on the show to avoid further inflaming a tense situation and an emotional moment for our country. It is a decision we made because we felt some of the comments were ill-timed and thus insensitive. They weren't ill-timed, and they were way more than just insensitive. He was, again, lying, and I think he did so with malice and did so intentionally. We have spent the last days having thoughtful conversations with Jimmy, and after those conversations, we reached the decision to return the show on Tuesday. So while the show is returning, Sinclair is not going to be airing it on its station. Sinclair said absolutely not. And Aaron McIntyre, commentator on The Blaze, has called on his followers to email ABC here, and he is saying that the reason why Disney is bringing the show back is because there were basically terror attacks and terror threats in order to not bring it back. I think there was a shooting at one of the television stations in Atlanta. There was like a drive-by shooting, etc. There were lots of people threatening violence if they didn't bring Jimmy Kimmel back. But yeah, free speech, right? And Aaron says ABC is returning Jimmy Kimmel to air after its affiliates were threatened with terrorist attacks. ABC wants America to know that terrorism will be rewarded. This cannot stand. And then he called on people to make phone calls, email, make social media posts, flood every inbox and notification tab. And he shared contact information for ABC and Disney representatives for the Jimmy Kimmel Show, ABC Publicity VP, Ashley Klein, Jimmy Kimmel Live, Chelsea Tanamachi, Rachel Villegas, Robert Mills, and then even sharing information to Disney shareholder contacts, Ashley Klein, Craig Erwich, and then obviously just kind of other contact information, as well as the affiliates, Nexstar Media, Sinclair, Tegna, and then also the show sponsors, JCPenney, Target, Instacart, Mercedes-Benz, Impossible Foods, PetSmart, Credit Karma, SiriusXM, Dairy Queen, and Chime. And he said he was going to share more actionable items as he kind of got them together. But he says, contact them all, do it now, share this out. Everyone fights, no one quits. So we will see what happens. We will see if Disney will stand with the liar, Jimmy Kimmel, and the destruction of the United States of America, because I definitely think that is exactly what he was aiming to do there in that segment. That's what he's been doing on that show for a number of years now, and Disney obviously has been promoting it, or if they will maybe finally get some sense and realize that that time is over and Americans are not putting up with it. We are not going to be following the likes of these activist organizations like the ACLU any longer. But let me know what you guys make of this. Let me know in the comments below. Remember to always be charitable, especially to each other, and to always, always speak the truth.
Why would you be afraid of the people? Why are you not afraid of God instead of man?